All right, so we're going to talk about MLW Fusion from February the 14th, 2021. But before we do, we got to do some news and notes. There was a big deal the week of the 8th, which was the week that MLW took off and did a underground show, which was something from the vault. Anyway, during that week, there was a big blow up about the AAA Cruiserweight Championship. Now, if you remember, Leo Rush won the AAA Cruiserweight Championship from Laredo Kid, I think in February of 2021. Then, immediately in March 2021, Laredo Kid was still in AAA touring Mexico with the Cruiserweight title, the AAA Cruiserweight title, which supposedly was won by Leo Rush, which led a lot of people to asking questions about what the hell is going on with that title. And then, so Conan decides, enough of people asking. He decides to go off on his podcast and explain what's going on. So I'm not going to read his exact words, but here's the long and the short of it. Court Bauer was jobbing out Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid is one of his hot young talents as a guy that he was building to wrestle like Kenny Omega and stuff like that. So he was kind of miffed at, Court Bauer booking Laredo Kid to lose all the time. So he's kind of upset about that. And then so he says that, hey, look, I told Court Bauer, don't use him if you're gonna have him do jobs, treat him right. If he's not gonna treat him right, then don't use him. And as far as the title is concerned, we did the match in Mexico where Leo Rush won the belt back, but those matches haven't aired yet. So I just have to come out and say those matches, will be airing soon, or yada yada yada. And then Lucha Blog, who follows Lucha Libre, he blew up the spot by basically saying Leo Rush was not at the AAA tapings and haven't been since Triple Mania, which I believe it was in December. So there was no match between Leo Rush and Laredo Kid. So then from there, Leo Rush started posting now deleted tweets where basically he talked about Conan and that there was miscommunication, that maybe the title wasn't supposed to be on the line, maybe he wasn't supposed to win it, however that was supposed to go. But he had a problem with Conan because he says that Conan and him had sent back some text messages back and forth in which Conan attempted to use his reputation from WWE and working at other places as being somebody difficult to work with. And basically saying, be quiet on this subject. Don't say anything. And just let me do what I'm doing. And, we'll all work it out in the end anyway. So then it became, well, the matches didn't happen because Leo's schedule didn't line up. And then Leo said it ain't got nothing to do with me. He put out the text messages. Then he went into the notes page and wrote out this 4-part story where he was trying to explain what took place. And it was ugly. All right. It was absolutely ugly. It was stupid as hell. This is why, how Court Bauer got the idea to put the AAA Cruiserweight title on the line, not in without AAA's opinion, which Conan is running the fucking show. Conan has been on MLW and will continue to be on MLW apparently because he still has a running storyline with Selena De La Renta. So he's got that going on. Conan is trying to be like, oh, okay, our relationship with MLW was cool. I just had to tell him about Laredo Kid, who was one of our guys, and to protect our guy. That was the only thing. That was the only problem. The title, we could just ignore it, and basically that's what happened. The long and the short of it, Leo Rush won the AAA Cruiserweight Championship. It was not recognized by AAA. Laredo Kid is still the champion, which is what they could have said. Conan could have just said, we don't recognize that, right? That, Leo, big ups to him. If he wants to win it, he has to win it in our show, or say that Leo Rush, by pinning Laredo Kid, is the number one contender. He can come down and wrestle at our show, but we didn't authorize any title for title match. And just do that. Just have Conan send a video in, basically saying, Leo Rush, we respect you. We love your talent. You beat our guy. That makes you a top contender for our belt, but you didn't win it because Laredo Kid may have agreed to put the title on the line, but he's not an executive at AAA. We make those decisions, and we don't allow our titles to be defended outside of our company. Period. End of story. But that had to go be this whole meandering thing about, it's basically like Pat Patterson won the Intercontinental title in a great tournament in, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's like it didn't happen. And it took some wrestling journalists to blow up the spot before, other people started to really complain about it. But whatever took place, Lio Rush deleted all of his tweets at Conan. Conan's podcast, as far as I know, is still up. I don't know if he said anything else about it. I'm guessing everybody just agreed to just drop the issue. Laredo Kid is still touring Mexico with the Cruiserweight title. There are still people posting pictures of Lio Rush with that belt. Guess he did have it once. They tried to blame the referee by saying the referee gave Lio Rush the belt and he didn't mean to. Even though the commentators continued to talk about it and then talked about it afterwards. He didn't have the belt afterwards. The Cruiserweight belt, he only had the MLW belt. But the announcers on MLW would keep saying, "Oh, he won the title for title match with Laredo Kid," instead of saying, a AAA executive board decided that the title wasn't on the line, and so Lio got screwed out of his belt. And yes, Lio was a heel, but he could have said, I'll go down there and win that belt, no problem. And that's it. We could have cleared all of this up. But they wanted to be dickheads. So this is the position that we're in. This is the problem when you got talent exchange, right? They complained about how many jobs Laredo Kid does. And then that was before they even took the belt, So that was ridiculous. Now let's get into the show. The first match of the show, Gino Medina versus Richard Holiday for the Caribbean Championship. Richard Holiday wins the match with the 2008, which is the year the stock market crashed, which fits perfectly into his gimmick as being sort of the spoiled rich kid. The finish came from an exposed turnbuckle. Holiday is still sort of a heel, but he's also becoming more of a babyface as time goes on. I didn't really particularly care much for this match. I like Richard Holiday as a personality. I just think that he's not that great as a wrestler yet. Maybe he needs to be retrained. I don't know how old he is, but he probably get in a good system, maybe an NXT like system, and it could really benefit him because he's a tall guy. But he's got the personality part down. Gino Medina, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Like whatever. Anyway, so we got a vignette a promo from the Von Erichs. Marshall Von Erich was in the chain ropes match. He got his leg kicked, and they said, "Oh, well, this harkens back to an injury he had 2 years ago. He got a trick knee. His trick knee went out." And so we went to Hawaii when he was on his dad's ranch or whatever. And Marshall was talking about how he wants to fight Tom Lawler one-on-one, but he can't get him one-on-one because of that leg injury, that gosh darn leg injury. And then Ross, Kevin, their dad, showed up and said that Ross is wanted in Japan by Keiji Muto, who wants to teach Ross a thing or two so that he can help him in their fight against the Team Filthy. And I was just like, what the fuck the Great Muta got to teach Ross Von Erich? He's going to fly all the way to Japan to get super special training from the Great Muta? Okay, cool. Whatever. Now, Marshall wanted to go because, of course, why wouldn't you want to go hang out with the Great Muta? And they were like, no, we can't send you. We can't let you go because you're hurt. And if you go out there and hurt your knees, you'll be out there hurting your knees all the time. It'll never end. So you have to take your time and heal up, son. Heal up. So they're going to send Ross Von Erich, I guess. I guess they're just going to explain why he's not going to be on TV. And as, why, we know Marshall's not going to be on TV. But we just got the explanation for why Ross won't be on TV. Okay. Whatever. So we did the Hammerstone promo where he basically said that the man of 1,000 deaths is going to become the man of 1,000 ass whoopings. He's going to beat Mil Muertes in the main event and regain physical possession of his national openweight championship. Okay, cool. So then we got Selena De La Renta. Selena, this actually should have been the second thing I talked about, because this is the first thing on the show. Was Selena said that she had a plan to destroy Hammerstone, and then there was a guy who appeared out of nowhere, a strong man for El Jefe, who pushed the cameraman out of the way, but the camera was still rolling, and he asked Selena, like, "Did you run any plan past El Jefe?" And she was, "What do you mean?" Now, here's the crazy thing about Selena. I'm going to mention this because very few people watch these videos. Selena did something called Lingerie Fighting Championships, which, of course, perked up my attention. I didn't know that thing existed. So I did some digging, and I saw that it's a wrestling league that features porn stars and other cam girls. So, oh my baby. Oh, baby. Okay? Daisy fucking Ducati, the porn star, was on that show. Wrestling. Not only that, a couple of the girls that I saw on there were just like naked all over Twitter. I'm talking straight up cam girls. One broad was walking around with a snake. Please believe that video will be done. I've had my fill of wrestling though. So like maybe because WrestleMania burnt me out on wrestling. So I don't think I could physically make watching more wrestling after SmackDown. I need those 2 days of Saturday and Sunday of not watching wrestling. I'm not going to watch the shit. I'm just going to find clips or something to talk about. But I will be talking about that. I may have to put that up on the Subscribe Star. I may have to do that because it's weird. I like talking about weird stuff, and it's weird. But it's real weird. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about Selena. Okay, so Selena De La Renta wrestled. I don't think she wrestled a porn star though. She wrestled Rob Van Dam's wife, Katie Forbes, with the big dumb fake butt. That's who she wrestled on that show. Anyway, so I forgot. I lost my place. I started thinking about those women in fishnets doing stuff. Okay. So they did a TJP, Alicia Etiquette promo where TJP was fined and suspended for attacking Buku Dao. Apparently, only when you got time off do you get suspended and fined. People don't get suspended and fined any other time they attack people on this show. But he's going to fight Buku Dao next week. And then he says Buku Dao, fight him man to man, but Buku Dao ain't a man. And it won't be much of a fight. And that, fans can shower Buku Dao with all the positive attention they want. But Buku Dao does not have the Twitter engagement of his pigs. Which, of course, Alicia Atude was like, oh, he's got more Twitter followers than you do. Because, she's ridiculous. Anyway, he claims he's going to crush Buku Dao. And then, because Alicia was being annoying, he turned off the camera. Which is always the thing when it comes to her. She is super annoying. So the second match on the show was the Dirty Blondes versus Los Parks for the MLW tag team titles. Both of these teams are heel teams, which made this match very interesting. The Dirty Blondes did most of the cheating in this match, especially early. They also had another young lady with them, but we'll get to that in a moment, which is also another reason why I mentioned Lingerie Fighting Championships. Because apparently, I guess, Selena's going to wrestle on here eventually. So you had the Dirty Blondes, and they were cheating. And so then Los Parks decided to cheat. They had L.A. Park Jr. sneak into the ring and hit both the Dirty Blondes in the nuts. One of them got rolled up and pinned. And then Selena got into a fist fight with Aria Blake, who was the manager of the Dirty Blondes. They got into a cat fight after the match. And so I'm guessing maybe she's going to wrestle this lady. They're going to actually have Selena wrestle. They haven't really been doing much in the way of women's wrestling in MLW. I'm not sure if they ever did. I think they probably have had women's matches. I just don't remember them. But Selena and most of the women on this show has either been interviewers or managers. It would be interesting if they would actually bring in some female wrestlers. And basically, the commentators basically says that, you know, Selena getting physically involved, which is getting into physical fights like this, you know, going back and forth, like her raking the eyes or something like that is one thing, but her, you know, throwing punches back and forth with somebody is a sign that she's cracking under the pressure of El Jefe and the Azteca Underground. So then we get Mods Kruger talking about hunting Hammerstone, and he's not done hunting Hammerstone, and Hammerstone hasn't been the same since the Baclay Brawl, which I completely forgot about. And basically, he's still hunting Hammerstone. He still got his eyes on him. I'm like, okay, cool. Then we get a promo between Alicia, Etiquette, and Lio Rush, where Lio Rush said they call him Poseidon because he makes waves. Poseidon is the god of the seas. And Lio Rush said, because I make waves. Okay. And basically he says that he makes history everywhere he goes. And, you know, him beating everybody was history and all that type of stuff. And then Alicia too started talking about his music. So he got to plug his bullshit rap album and talk about how he makes sweet sounds. And then he mocked Myron Reed for being a SoundCloud rapper. And then talked about, you know, fans look up to him, even the fans in the locker room, and other wrestlers look up to him. And that, you know, he had one message to people who are fans of his, and that's keep being a fan, and it keeps money in his pocket. so he liked that, and he asked Alicia what time it was, and she didn't know, and she said, you know, it's rush hour. And she was like, it's rush hour. Lio Rush is a good promo. He's a good personality. Like he is like boundless confidence. He's just so incredibly fucking small. But he has great promo skills. Like I love how annoying he is. Like he is great as far as being annoying, being loud, presenting bigger than he really is. Like so I really enjoy heel Lio Rush being like this, you know, and especially as he's like a F-list rapper. He's like a Z-list rapper. But, you know, part of his gimmick is that he's some big-time rapper. Big-time two-lane independent entertainer. You know, he's a rapper and a singer and a wrestler. He does it all. You know, it's kind of like, okay, whatever, dog. So Myron Reed cuts his promo after Lio Rush does, and he talks about, you know, people bugging him about the rematch, when he's going to wrestle Lio Rush. When is the Lio Rush rematch? He basically says that I wanted to take care of my business with Contra first. And after, you know, getting into these fights with Contra, I'll come back better. I'll come back stronger, come back hungrier. And now I'm ready for my belt, to get my belt back. And now he's basically laid out a challenge for Lio Rush. Which, you know, I'm guessing Lio Rush is just going to accept it. So the main event of the show, Alexander Hammerstone versus Mil Muertes. Alexander Hammerstone had been the MLW National Openweight Champion since June 1st, 2019. So he had been champion for almost 2 years. And here, he defeated Mil Muertes with the Nightmare Pendulum. He beat him, you know. And I remember I was just like, wow, you know, they put a lot of effort into building Mil Muertes, and several weeks of him not really tearing through guys, if we're being honest. But to have him lose his first real competitive match, I was like, that's interesting. You had Hammerstone. Look, I know Hammerstone is their guy, you know, so it's not like it's a big, huge deal. But they didn't even have Hammerstone pin Mads Kruger. They didn't even have him pin him. You know, I think, did they even have him pin? They did have him pin La Parka, I believe. L.A. Park, I mean. But he didn't even pin Mads Kruger. So this is a big win for Hammerstone. It also serves a dual purpose because now Selena went through this whole thing by raising Mil Muertes from the dead, and he's going to be the man of 1,000 deaths, and he's going to destroy everybody. He's going to wreck everything. And he lost. You know, he failed El Jefe. He couldn't win the title back. Or he couldn't win the title. So this kind of cuts both ways as far as it helps tell her story. and it furthers along Hammerstone. So maybe that's why, Mil Muertes took the pin, is because, hey, it helps uh, Hammerstone raise up, but it also tells the story of Selena, that now she has to explain how her monster, the guy she raised from the dead, that she told everybody was an unstoppable badass, got beat by a nightmare pendulum. Very interesting stuff. And but after the match, let's continue. After the match, Hammerstone says that getting his physical belt back was only, he never lost that, so that was expected. He was going to get that belt back, but now he's got his eyes on something else. And next week, he's going to have a press conference to explain what his next moves are going to be. So obviously, he's probably going to challenge Jacob Fatu for the world heavyweight title, which is, I think he's been a number one contender for a long time now. All right, so this was solid main event. The two of the three matches were fine. The tag team match was actually not that bad. The promos were good, as far as I enjoyed the Leo Rush promo. Selena continues to be an interesting character. So there are some things to like about MLW. So speaking of like, hit the like button. Also hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Also go into the description. You can follow me on Twitter. You can also send cash via the Cash app if you want. If you want to send money on a recurring basis, you could do so via the Subscribe Star, which is $5 a month. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.